Hi everyone, and thank you again for joining us for another edition of the Merchant of the Month. This month we're at Lowell 5 Bank at 498 Chickering Road in North Andover, and I'm with Linda Firth. So Linda, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me to do this.
So there's a special congratulations in place this time. Lowell 5 Bank is instrumental in helping us get the farmers market underway with some generous donations. Last year and this year, they have donated $15,000 to the farmers market to help make it a reality. And not only was it a reality last year, it was a huge hit.
It was.
And everybody's very excited to see the one start this month.
Absolutely. And it's being expanded this month as well, this
Right.
year, adding some new features to it too.
So tell me about Lowell 5 Bank itself.
So Lowell 5 has actually been in business for 164 years. Yep. Started in Lowell and has expanded. We have 16 branches throughout the area now, 2 of which are in schools, vocational schools. So we have little banks inside of the schools. So Lowell 5 really believes in, helping out in the community too. So we're very fortunate to have both FDIC and DIF insurance, so no matter how much money you have with us, it's 100% insured. So
You've mentioned that you're involved in communities, and obviously you're very involved in North Andover. Tell me more about the different communities that you're involved in and what you do.
So all of the Lowell 5 branch employees throughout all the communities that we're in, we give a scholarship in every high school for the town that we have a branch in. We've done that every year since we came here to North Andover too, and all the other towns do it as well. Many members of our team are involved in different organizations. We sit on boards, we host different events and things like that. We believe it's very important to give back to the communities that we do business in, so we're happy to do that. Here in North Andover, you mentioned the farmers market. We also just sponsored the Challenger Little League teams down on Mass Avenue, helping out. One of the things that they needed was some help to make the fields handicapped accessible, so we were able to help out with that. And as you said, the farmers market and anything else that we can do, we do try. We have sponsored the fireworks in North Andover in past years too. So
I understand that Lowell 5 sponsors a school banking program in the grammar schools. How does this help the students? What's the life lesson, and how long have you been offering the school banking?
So Lowell 5 as a company has been offering school banking programs for 60 years. So in many of our other branches, they go out into the schools and they help the kids set up accounts, and weekly we go out and pick up deposits and process them in the branch and then bring them back to the schools, get the kids on the right path for it. Here in North Andover, we've been doing it for 2 years. Last year we started it out with the 4th graders, and then this year added in the 5th graders, so now anyone in 4th and 5th. We do that every week. Tuesdays we pick up, Thursdays we drop off. We'll open the accounts for the children, get them on the right path for it. Lowell 5 believes in trying to build a good foundation for people's financial security. And if we can start the kids off young, it can only get better from there. So we're hoping to add to it each year.
So is it,
expand the
like
program.
a bank account, and then the kids, is it like a savings account? The kids are encouraged to put money
Absolutely.
in?
Absolutely.
So what do you mean by pick up and drop off?
So we bring them an envelope to the school, and they take it home with them. They put their little deposit in it. They bring it back to school. Tuesdays, we go pick up all those envelopes. Some of them have $1, some of them might have $100, whatever they need, it doesn't matter. They're able to open an account with just 5 cents. So, we want to encourage them, save what you can. It will keep growing.
So do they get passbooks and everything to see how their money's going in?
We have found that it's easier to give them a statement savings account so that they don't lose their passbooks. We want to make sure that we keep them, not worrying about losing the book.
Yep.
And then we bring the deposits back to the branch, we process them, and then on the next couple of days, we bring it back to the school with a new envelope so that they can save again. Some do it every week, some do it every few weeks, whatever they want. We just want to encourage them to keep doing that saving.
Wow, I wish there was something like that when I was a
I
kid.
know.
Obviously, I grew up in the wrong area. So tell me more about the products that the bank offers.
So we offer a huge variety of products. Anything that a huge commercial bank can offer, we can offer here. We have all the modern technologies and everything. We focus on a relationship with our customers. Our mission is to become a primary financial institution for our customers. We don't want to just sell them something, we want to service them. We want to give them what they need. So we do our best to try to get to know our customers well, so that in the course of conversation, we can help them figure out what might be best for them and offer them the things that they might need. We do all kinds of lending. Our commercial loan offices can lend up to $20 million. So there's a huge array of products with all the same modern conveniences you'd have somewhere else, but with a little bit more of a personal feel to it.
So again, we're here at Lowell 5 Bank in North Andover. I'm Dawn Pease, President of the North Andover Merchants Association. And thanks again for joining us for our Merchant of the Month, and we'll see you next month.
So these are my marathon medals, the Boston Marathon medals. This is last year's from the 121st Marathon 2017. And this one is from this year, 2018. It's the 122nd one. They're a little different. I actually like the new one a little bit more. You can see up here how the ribbon here is a little different, and also how it's attached to the medal. But they're about the same. They're kind of heavy and they're nice quality. And on the back you can kind of put your name and your time. I haven't done that yet, but I'm thinking about doing it. So they had Medal Monday like a week ago. So then I took these and I put it on Instagram, and it felt awesome. It was nice to have two Boston Marathon medals on at the same time. So I can't wait to get another one. Then I qualified for it in 2016. I was up in Maine at Sugarloaf Marathon, and it was quite amazing because I decided I'm going to go and qualify for Boston Marathon. So I trained with my awesome trainer. Her name is Deanna Pomfret. She showed me some ways to improve my times, and I had a phenomenal race. I ran it in 3 hours and 3:22:19, and I qualified for Boston, which was one of my greatest days in my life. And then the next year, which was last year, 2017, I went to do my first Boston. It was a little bit crazy, a little overwhelming. It was a lot of people everywhere, a little bit of sensory overload, but it was also pretty cool. It was a little bit warm, so I struggled. So I had to stop and walk, which I have never done in a race in my whole life, which was a little bit of a defeat, but I decided, but then and there I'm gonna make it through, and I'm gonna do it again next year. So last year we raised about $12,000 for my son, and this year we're about the same amount, $12,000 at this point. So it's a very emotional thing for me doing the marathons, because I like to push myself physically. I like performing, but I also like every single step I take for my son. His diagnosis includes he has a speech delay, he is not nonverbal, he has seizure disorder, he has low muscle tone and global developmental delay. A lot of the kids with his diagnosis don't make it into adulthood. So raising funds for him and other children like him means a lot to me, because it's my son. I can maybe change people's lives, including his. There's a cure. There's a scientist called Soda Hugby, and she's over in Texas, and she's actually found a cure for this. Probably the hardest part of the race for me, that pre-race, mentally getting yourself ready to go out and run in that type of weather, and thinking it was awful. Like, we were so cold, everybody was, standing close to each other and waiting, and you feel like, why am I doing this? I want to go home. Like, seriously, I should be on my couch right now. But I had a good friend, her name is Linda, and she also ran with me. She was in the same wave and coral as I was, so we stuck together and we started running the first 3 miles together and kind of warming up and laughing and goofing. And then, I felt like kind of motivated. And then it was just kind of a mental thing. I just told myself that, this is just water, this is just wind, worst thing can happen. I can do this, I'm a good runner, I've been training for this the whole season. I put in hours and hours of training, of runs and strength, and I was like, I'm tougher than this. Coming there and being there for the first time was just a feeling that it's hard to describe, because this is, you're running the Boston Marathon, you're gonna come to the finish line, and it's like the people are cheering you on, and you do feel very special. I mean, no doubt about it. And you feel like, wow, all these people here cheering for me, you know? And then so, yes, that was pretty cool. This year it was cool, but it wasn't as cool because I already had done it. But what was cool this year was that a lot of people were out in the weather conditions, and I had some really nice friends that was out on the course, and seeing their faces, seeing my family, and seeing all the volunteers. That was a feeling that made me feel like, gave me extra strength, I think, because of like they're out here, they're helping me, they're supporting me, and they could be inside because it's raining right now. It's a lot of work. But once you finish that marathon and you are in Boston at that finish line, you're like, yep, I'll be back next year again.
Hello, this is Jennifer Price, the Superintendent of the North Andover Public Schools. And for this segment of the Journal, I'm going to talk a little bit about this being my last segment of the Journal. I want to begin by saying thank you to the North Andover community. I've really enjoyed being your superintendent for the last 3 years. This is a special town, a special place, and a special school district, and I have felt so fortunate to be here for the last 3 years. One of the questions that was actually asked of me at town meeting by Bill Callahan was, what would you say to the North Andover community about your time here? And I tried my best to answer that on the spot, but I've thought a lot about that question since I was asked it. And what I would like to say is, you know, the future is really bright for North Andover, and specifically what I can talk about the North Andover Public Schools. You know, in a few short months, we're going to be welcoming 325 new kindergartners into the Ann Bradstreet Early Childhood Center. How exciting is that? You know, there's so much going on here. We have all these new grants and community connections. There's a lot of new and exciting curriculum happening. Things are really moving in the right direction. And I would say to you that there's work to be done. And I think specifically about the fact that we have a middle school that has the largest average class sizes, or at least one of the largest average class sizes in the state of Massachusetts. We desperately need a renovation and expansion of the middle school. And that's going to be a decision that the North Andover community has to make. As we've all talked about, that is going to require a debt exclusion override. There is going to need to be more money put into that renovation expansion of the middle school. Hopefully we'll get some school building authority help from the Massachusetts State School Building Authority, and they'll get some state's funding there. But really, North Andover is going to have to make that decision. And once that school is open, how are we going to put the additional 15 classroom teachers into that space? Is that going to be over time? Is that going to be able to be done all at once? There really are some important decision points ahead for the North Andover Public Schools. And, you know, the best part is I'm leaving this school district in amazing hands. I am so excited that Dr. Greg Gilligan will be taking over for me. It makes me feel so wonderful that the continuity and the work that we've done together is going to continue. He's an amazing guy. He cares deeply about this town. He feels so strongly about this town's values, about its history, and I'm really excited about where he's going to lead it in the future. To North Andover, thank you so much. You have some important decisions ahead. I hope as you make those decisions, you think about what is in the best interest of our kids, which I know you will do. And as always, I've really, really appreciated the time and your partnership. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian Sheehy, History Department Coordinator at North Andover High School. I'm going to talk about the History Learning Lab today. Decided that we wanted to engage our students at North Andover in a different way. We had seen some videos of a couple of history teachers at Westford Academy doing some experience-based learning with history. And we went and visited there, and we liked what we saw. They were using typewriters, they were using different historical artifacts to get their lessons across. So we took that and we expanded upon it, got a whole bunch of different items kind of laying around some of our houses, some of our grandparents' houses, some of our parents' houses. We got some donations of different items. And we wanted to create a mini museum where students could come into the lab, or items could be brought to the classroom where they could learn history in their traditional subjects in a different, unique way. So that's kind of the inspiration of the Learning Lab.
I'm Liam O'Carroll. I'm a senior here at North Andover, and I am right now doing an independent study where I help Mr. Sheehy in organizing, cataloging, and setting up the History Museum here in the History Lab. A lot of what I do here is cataloging the things. So right now we have this World War II exhibit, so a lot of these individual things, just marking labels, putting them in. We have an online Google Doc of sort of cataloging everything that we have, so that if we want to switch exhibits, we can put those away, so they can be used for next time. Sort of a description of what they are, laying out sort of. I did some research on. So here we have some pins, different medals and pins from World War II. Just what each of them signifies, who they would have been given to, what they're for. So research on different artifacts in the museum and sort of what they are, their descriptions, where they go.
Really like obscure, interesting things. Like one of the things, like we didn't know how old this camera right here was, which would have been a 1930s camera that was your grandfather's, right? And so strangely enough, it's like a weird, how does it release again? This button, here we go. It's a weird, right here it says AFCA ANSCO. Those two companies only merged for like a span of 3 years, and those 3 years helped me pinpoint how old this camera was, where it was from, that it would have been used in World War II. So like, there's been some like really fascinating research, like what things would have been used for, the differences between then and now. I think that's a lot of it. Like we have some old razors that sort of unscrew, you place the blade in, screw them together, whereas razors today would have nothing like that. Sort of differences between the then and now. That's been a huge part of it for me. It's really fascinating. I would say my favorite part was just being able to touch everything. I think a lot of museums is like hands-off, whereas I was able to be hands-on with everything as long as I was careful, see things that I just never seen before, didn't know about. So being able to like look in and touch and see how things worked, the differences, even the differences in like some of the clothing, the way the material's put together compared to the sort of more overseas factories that we have now. There's like little things that you notice by just being able to touch, be up close, work with things like that. I mean, it was never my intention to. I was always sort of an engineering science type of guy, but I'd say it's definitely something that's got me intrigued. It's something I'd look at in college, being part of a historical society. It's really fascinating. It really roped me in. I get really involved in it and seeing what everything is in here.
Hallway Cafe started 2 years ago when a parent came to us and said, what do you think about starting a cafe or something for the students to have a daily job or a weekly job in the school? So we decided to just set it up here right in the main lobby, and it's really taken off. So we set up here most Fridays from 9 to 11, and this is where we work.
The teachers think it's fabulous. They are excited. If we skip a week, they ask us why. They look forward to it, and we've done the additional online bagel orders, and they love that. That's been a great success. We tried to go the healthy route, and that didn't go so well. So they like the muffins and the bagels. We have coffee donated by Perfectos. Great coffee, thank you, Perfectos.
When we started the Hallway Cafe, the students started the program from really setting everything from what we were going to sell to how much every item was going to be to figuring out unit pricing. We really did everything from the bottom up, and the kids were a huge part of that. They came up with the name Hallway Cafe. They were the ones that came up with the logo, Hallway Joe. Mrs. Barron is the one that made these aprons for everybody, and Miss Tompkins is the one that drew our Monkey Joe and the logo. Do you like working at Hallway Cafe?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do for the cafe?
Cookie.
And the money.
And the money.
She's our money man.
We will not be working this summer. We will pick it back up in September, and like I said, we're open pretty much most Fridays from 9 to 11 in the main lobby.
Hello everybody, welcome to this month's episode of The Journal. I'm Andrew Mailer, Town Manager here in North Andover, and I'm coming to you in June as the weather is getting progressively better, and hopefully it'll get better as the summer goes on. Our students are still in school, so be mindful of that. They don't get out of school till June 27th this year, and and hopefully that won't be the case in future years and the weather will be better. I just completed a very successful town meeting. I want to thank the residents of North Andover who attended the town meeting. We had over 400 people in the first night, which is really great. A lot of important things were discussed with some great feedback and interaction. Specifically, I want to identify the fact that the town meeting approved a new senior center, something that is essentially important to not only the current generation of seniors, but the future generation of seniors. It's going to be located on Sutton Street. It's part of a public-private partnership, something that's truly unusual in the community. We're working with a developer who has donated the land. We're working with them. There's going to be a residential development on the site and also the senior center. In addition, town meeting approved a $9 million open space recreation project to take place where the current Hay Stadium is between the middle school and the Atkinson School. It'll be the most dynamic and exciting and largest, quite frankly, open space project in the town's history. It'll be transformative to the area along 125, something that's very exciting. In both cases, you should start to see us do some real meaningful work toward the design in the fall. I'd expect we'd go out to bid, and both projects could be underway, or should be underway, quite frankly, during 2019. Very, very exciting stuff. Also on that site that's along Chickering Road and between the middle school and the ECC is the brand new kindergarten building, which will be known as the Early Childhood Center or the Ann Bradstreet Early Childhood Center. And that'll house kindergarten classrooms in addition to the Early Childhood Center classrooms. And it's going to allow us to reduce average classroom size in the community, something that's been a goal of both the school committee, school superintendent, my office, and the Board of Selectmen. I would like to note, this is the last opportunity to do so, we've had the great pleasure of having a superintendent of schools in Dr. Price that has been transformative to our school district. We've seen a litany of positive results that has helped our school kids in a district and really helped the community as a whole. She's been a true partner with me. I'm going to miss that partnership. I wish her well in her next endeavor as she goes off to be the head of school on BB&N in Cambridge. I think it's a great opportunity for her. They're very fortunate to have her, and we've been fortunate to share in that partnership over the last couple of years. And of course, I'm looking forward to work with Dr. Gilligan as he becomes our new superintendent, as we continue what is unusual in North Andover, this partnership between school and town to make sure that we can get more done with your tax dollars and get more done to make the community a better place to live and work. Thank you.